Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binaries of all ages, welcome to How to Make a Literal Cat in Your Favorite RPG. I hope you're not here to learn to do character creation the right way, because this is the Cat Creation Podcast, hosted by me, Joel.
And me, Avalon.
I don't know why I said it like a question.
Yeah, what did you... You should be more confident in yourself, Joel. Don't question your statements.
Yeah, my name is Joel.
Yeah. Yes, that it is. I can confirm.
Anyway, hey, Avalon. Avalon, how you been?
I am doing A-okay. I've been out here. I've been on the gamer grind. I'm playing like a new game every day. It feels like. But if it's not that, I'm busy with real life stuff.
That is how it is, isn't it?
Yeah. What about you? You been up to anything cool?
I'm making some moves. That's about it.
All right, love to see it. Knight to C3, cool stuff.
I don't know chess.
Well, so somebody out there gets that. For all
Except for the Stafford Gambit.
Yes, the Stafford Gambit is well known.
I know it because of the song.
Yeah, I was about to say. I take it you saw the song as well.
Yeah.
The thing's been playing on my head in my head on loop for like the past week and a half.
I can do some fun stuff with Vocaloids.
Truly. But we're not looking at chess today. We're looking at other tabletop games, specifically tabletop RPGs.
Yeah. Though speaking of Vocaloids, maybe in this setting you can actually speak to one in real life or something, because it's Otherscape.
Otherscape.
Yeah. Otherscape is a cyberpunk fantasy tabletop RPG following the same rule system as City of Mist. It is also, just like City of Mist and Queers, developed by Son of Oak Game Studios.
Another Son of Oak game. Love to see it.
It is another Son of Oak game.
Who is the Son of Oak? Do we know his name?
It's Amit Moshe. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Anyway, that's like the main writer, designer, etc. for these games.
Gotcha.
He's got a new one coming out next year sometime.
Oh, wow.
We should try and get him on the show for that.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, if you're out there listening, Son of Oak, hit us up.
Anyway, so Otherscape is very similar to like City of Mist, Queers, like I said. Like basically the same character creation process. There's just a couple changes to this one. City of Mist and Queers kind of had this dichotomy. Your character was split between two aspects of their life, like the mundane personal stuff and then the fantastic stuff that made their story worth telling, right?
Mm-hmm.
This game, being more cyberpunk themed, they've added a new series of pieces to your character sheet that you can work with called Noise. Which is cyborg enhancements, technology that you get to work with, etc. It is all the high-tech equipment that you could use, that you could dream of having in your cyberpunk fantasy setting.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's that, but they've also done something that I think is kind of interesting. So if you know City of Mist or Queers, you know they are based on Powered by the Apocalypse, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just instead of having solid stats like you would for Monster of the Week or Masks: A New Generation. Those games just give you a number associated with a move, and that's what you roll. City of Mist and Queers had moves, but you didn't have stats, not like a solid thing. You had powers, and you would build your stat total for your roll from your power tags. This game kind of takes it a little further. It is still 2d6 plus power tags. It still uses the 3-tiered success-failure system that you're used to seeing in Powered by the Apocalypse, but they've done away with moves.
Oh, okay. So no moves.
There's no moves. The action economy looks the same, basically. Like, any RPG, you describe your action, the game master will tell you to roll if you need to, and then you roll to find out what happens, right? That's all the same. The only thing that's different is now there's no sorting out your actions based on the type of move you want. You can roll any set of tags for any action because there's no move associated with it. You then choose perks for rolling a success, and the game master will choose consequences for when you roll a mixed success or a failure.
Okay, so it's kind of like use whatever tag goes with like what you're trying to do in game.
Exactly. So you can do basically whatever action is appropriate. You just roll to find out what the outcome is, and then you choose from a list of consequences what goes right for you, and then if anything is supposed to go wrong, that gets chosen at the same time as well.
Okay. Sounds like a really interesting concept.
It's a little different than like what you'd be used to with Powered by the Apocalypse, because usually those moves are incredibly structured.
Mm-hmm.
But this one kind of makes it a lot more freeform. And it makes it freeform in the exact same way that the rest of the system is more freeform than your standard Powered by the Apocalypse.
Gotcha. So we're playing pretty loosey-goosey here.
I mean, not really. Like, it's still a structured play system, you know, it's...
Yeah.
Other than that one change, it looks and plays the same way. It's just, you have your stated goals, you have what you want to achieve, you roll when you don't know if you can achieve it. It's just, you don't have to lock that into like, okay, well, this is the kick some ass roll, or the sneak around roll, or the take a risk roll. It's the, I just roll it, and then we figure out what the consequences are.
Yeah.
And normally I hate games like that, because they usually leave all the decision-making part of that up to the game master, but this time the responsibility of it is split between the players and the game master, so I think, honestly, it'll work.
Yeah, that is a very, very collaborative, way to do it, which I think most TTRPGs are very collaborative in their storytelling. That's the main appeal. But I like that you get kind of equal opportunity here.
Mm-hmm. Like, any TTRPG that is worth its salt will give you opportunities for collaborative, emergent storytelling through play.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Anyway, are you ready to get started?
I am ready to get started, but I think our audience needs to hear something before we get started. Because
that is true.
On top of the game's rules, the show has its own rules that we follow. These are cat creation rules.
And we do gotta follow those. Let me get us started on these.
Okay.
Rule number 1 here, we accept no cop-outs. We're making a cat, which is the exact animal that comes to mind when I say the word. No anthropomorphic races, no people turned into cats, no lions, no tigers, or any other cop-out you can imagine. It is what we say it is. A cat. Nothing else, nothing any, bigger or grander than that. We can't work our way around the limitations of what the show wants to produce.
Exactly. Speaking of workarounds and limitations, rule number 2 is we cannot use homebrew/house rules. If the rules in the rule book do not explicitly allow something to happen, we count it as a rule broken. I mean, if we come across rules as written versus rules as intended, we mark a rule broken for whichever one tells us no. So most of the time, we're intended to play as a human. We're not doing that here, so that's usually our main rule broken.
Yeah. Complete tangent, but it is incredible to me how, there was a huge, rules as written versus rules as intended, discussion in certain areas of the RPG community. But, when you've played as many games as we have, or, at least looked through as many games as we have,
mm-hmm.
It becomes clear that after a while that, if the rules are written coherently, you don't have a debate between, was this intended, or was something different intended than what was written, because it's just written in the rules.
Yeah.
Anyway, if the game includes stats for a literal cat, those must be used or adapted to the game's character sheet.
I highly doubt that this one has cat stats.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to double check. But on to rule number 4, the character, class, background, playbook, job, what have you, must exist in the game's core rules or as part of an official expansion. Again, we cannot use homebrew classes. They don't exist and they can't hurt you. We are not looking at any official expansions today. I think we're just doing the core book.
Yeah, no, this game just came out. I don't even know when they would have made an expansion.
It's that day one update, man. Every game has one now.
Well, I mean, this game's day one update is the adventure module that released alongside the game. So,
oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's just its own, adventure source book that comes with it.
Nice.
What rule are we on?
5.
Right, okay. The cat can learn any skill available to its class, even if it's not something a cat could normally be trained to do. And you can train people to do a lot of stuff in a world where fantasy stuff exists and where machine enhancements exist.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll lead to a lot of interesting stuff that this cat will be able to do.
For sure.
Rule number 6 is if a tool would be physically impossible for a literal cat to use, even if comically downsized for them, they cannot use it. Now, I find that when we do these kind of like cyberpunky games or like just like sci-fi-ish games, rule number 6 kind of takes a backseat because most of the time there are like enhancements to just like let your character do XYZ. So I'm interested to see if this game has any of that.
Well, I mean, it is another one of those games that is so free form in how it lets you make your character, just like how City of Mist was, just like how Queers was, that we can kind of just give ourselves whatever specialty gear we want. So if we want a chainsaw that can cut through time and space, we did that one already, but like the rules say it's possible.
We'll have to see what crazy stuff we can come up with for this one then.
Yeah. Rule number 7 is, if a character sheet has a section that is meant to be filled out in collaboration with the whole table, we leave that blank so potential players can make it fit the group they're playing with. That rule was made in response to the first City of Mist episode we did.
Yeah. Finally, rule number 8 is we have to keep track of every rule that we break.
Probably not going to break any rules this time, let's be real.
Yeah, but if we do, we will go over that at the end of the episode.
Yep.
But I think, well, I know we are done with the cat creation rules, and I think we are ready to get into this.
Oh yeah, we're so ready to get into this. So let's jump to page 174, the second half of chapter 3, to do character creation.
God, this is such a big book.
It is a big book.
All right.
So, let's see, on page 174 here, as explained under your characters and crew section on page 70, player characters and crews are described using tags, which are grouped into themes. During character creation, you pick or create themes and tags for your character, which define your character's abilities, assets, allies, social status, and so on. So, this is our third time using this system. If this is your first time listening to an episode about a Son of Oak game, basically, you know how a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse games have playbooks? City of Mist and its style uses theme books. Theme books are basically, you get 4 playbooks per character. Each one is related to an individual theme. A theme book works like a playbook, and it's more or less a questionnaire that you fill out to determine what kind of character you're playing and what's their play style. Everything is designed to be open-ended and interchangeable. So the themes that you start the game with may not be the ones that you end the game with.
Let's go. We love character development here.
So I think the main thing here is we need to focus or look at is on page 175 because it talks about the different theme types.
Yeah.
And we can look into what each of these mean when we get deeper in here. But basically there are 3 categories of theme. There's self, mythos, and noise. Self would be like the Logos themes of City of Mist, or what were they called in Queers? I can't remember.
Crap, I'm drawing a blank too.
Well, someone can go back and look that up, or if you know Queers lore, then you can probably figure it out on your own, but, because that one's based on a comic book. But anyway, so we have listed here, the Mythos themes are Artifact, Companion, Esoterica, and Exposure.
Interesting.
There was a point where I knew what these represented, but I don't remember anymore. Let's see, last time I read through this book would have been a month ago at this point.
Wow.
A bit over a month ago.
Yeah, so not that fresh. Up next, I'll go with noise. We have augmentation, cutting edge, cyberspace, and drones. So that sounds like your futuristic options, you know?
So each of these kind of has a companion thing, like in Mythos it's literally called companion. In noise it's drones. Basically you get a little helper.
Mm-hmm.
For self, it's the affiliation theme.
Gotcha.
Self has affiliation, assets, expertise, horizon, personality, and troubled past.
Mm.
Then you also have loadouts, but we'll get into that later.
So...
Oh, good. Okay, so on page 176, we actually have a brief explanation of each type of theme. So they start us with self. Affiliation theme represents your connection to other people, most often a group or culture, but also individuals. It could be a club, gang, cult, online social circle, or a loved one. It's who you know, who has your back, with whom you feel like you belong, and who you can turn to for help. I think maybe we should just, read the first paragraph of each of these, or first sentence.
Yeah, okay. The assets theme type represents physical or digital resources at your disposal, such as a weapon, vehicle, safe house, arsenal, or program library.
Expertise theme type represents training, professional development, and talent.
The horizon theme type represents your hopes, dreams, aspirations, and goals.
Personality represents how you behave. It could be your modus operandi on the job, your general demeanor, or your defining characteristic.
The troubled past theme type represents a defining moment or overall background that has shaped you.
Then we have mythos. Mythos are the introduction of the fantasy element to this otherwise cyberpunk noir setting. We have the artifact, which represents an item that serves as a source of power, usually a relic, but other times a mundane item exposed to another source.
We have a companion. The companion represents a magical creature or follower who is capable of assisting you. Pretty standard.
Yeah.
What I expected, yeah.
The esoterica theme type represents gaining powers through knowledge, a practice, or an art.
The exposure theme type represents being imbued with powers by encountering something magical, traveling to a metaphysical realm, or becoming the target of a supernatural effect, or such as a curse or a spell, which is also known as being touched by a source.
So I think the difference between those two is like esoterica is like you're a wizard, you've studied magic, or like in terms of like superheroes, you'd be thinking of like the people who studied their magic, they got their powers through training, through learning to use some mystical source. Whereas exposure is the guys who got bit by a radioactive spider or something.
Yeah, it was more, their powers were kind of given to them, or like manifested in some way that wasn't knowledge.
Intentional.
Yeah, intentional.
Augmentation. We're starting the noise themes now. Augmentation represents cybernetic or biological enhancements installed into your body and mind, making you more than human.
The cutting edge represents a truly mind-blowing new technology you've somehow got your hands on.
Cyberspace represents a connection to virtual reality, online lifestyles, or other digital existence.
Drones represents control over one or more remote devices or robots.
And there we go.
All right. Those are themes, or theme types, rather. This all sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I do love the idea of, like, cybernetics mixed with magic. Because it's like, I'm going to throw out a fireball with my wand, and then I have a flamethrower, like, embedded in my other arm.
Totally doable. Do you have any thoughts about the type of character you think we should run?
It's a good question. I think it'd be nice to do kind of like something balanced specifically just for terms of like looking at everything we can. But I don't know, like, if we want to lean into one side or the other. Do love me some magic cats.
Yeah. There's different themes, they call them essences, based on the type of, it's on page 134, a little further back up, where like you have an essence rating based on and you can see it here on the first page of the character sheet too.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, if you have all three types you get 4. If you have all 3 types of theme, then you're a Nexus character. You've touched on the full gamut of experiences which living in this age can offer. You can be a spiritualist, which has self and mythos. You have no noise themes in that case. You can be a cyborg, where you have self and noise. Transhuman, where you only have mythos and noise. Real, where you only have yourself. There's 2 different states you can be in for mythos. If you know City of Mist, you know that you have, when you're playing as a character, you get 1 mythos source at a time. You can change it out if you need to, but you get 1 at a time. If you're in a state where you have all mythos powers and no logos powers, then you're an avatar. But in Otherscape, there is actually 2 mythos-only states of being. There's the avatar, which is the same as in City of Mist. You only have mythos themes. They are all of the same source. So you have 1 source of mythos. But you can also be a conduit, where you only have mythos themes of different sources.
Okay.
And then if you have only noise, you're a singularity.
Love the first line of that. You are a new life form.
You've left humanity and its blathering stories behind, venturing into an existence of pure informational truth.
Ooh. This is cool. I like the essence titles that they give for like whichever way you're leaning, you know?
Yep. It's pretty cool. And it's also a little more open than in City of Mist, because in City of Mist, you basically have like awakened characters who have both mythos and logos. You have avatars who have given up on logos, and then sleepers who have given up on mythos entirely. And those are states that you're not supposed to stay in. Like, if you run out of mythos, you don't replace your final mythos theme with a new logos theme. You leave that blank until you decide on a new mythos. It comes back basically at your will, and when it comes back, you have the option of, like, going all in with it and immediately replacing not just, like, the one missing theme, but 2 of your existing logos themes with a new mythos theme all at the same time.
Wow.
And then same thing with mythos. When you lose your last logos theme and become an avatar, that is, again, not a state you're supposed to stay in for the rest of the game. You'll eventually crash back down to only having one thing, or just at some point pick up a new identity and grow a new logos tag.
So you have to kind of ebb and flow through how your character is.
Yeah. In this one, it doesn't sound like you have that same limitation.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was picking up on is...
You just shift your essence based on what themes you have at the time. I think we should make a Nexus character simply because it gives us the option to explore every theme type.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I love getting a good, like, overview of, like, all we can do when we're recording, like, looking at these games on here.
Yep.
So...
One of the ones I want to do is, I want to do an augmentation.
Okay.
So, like, we have a cyborg cat, basically.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I think, feel free to veto any of these if you don't like them, but I think we should do Artifact from the Mythos. That's basically the magic item.
I was thinking Exposure, maybe?
Well, we can do both, unless you have another idea for the self as well.
True. For the self, the only one I could think of for the self is Personality, to be honest. The rest of them are kind of like...
I mean, you could have an affiliation.
Yeah, that's the other one I was thinking of, too.
If you're gonna have assets, then we've already got an artifact. We don't need assets.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good place to start, though. Artifact, exposure, augmentation, and personality.
Okay.
So on the second page of the character sheet, you get the front of the theme cards. So we can just write in up at the top the 4 theme types that we're choosing. There's an icon for each of these. You've got Self has a heart, Mythos has this like upside down triangle with an eye, and Noise has like a microchip thing.
Yeah. So those are 4 themes.
So personality would be the first one to come up. It's on page 212. I guess technically 213, because you got a big old art page on 212. In a world full of simulation, copying, and cloning, originality and authenticity are priceless. Your unique personality can be your greatest asset, as it sets you apart from the masses. Then on the next page, based on this, think about the answer to the question below. In what unique way do you think or behave? They give us kind of some like fill-in-the-blank options here to help us along if we need it. When around others, I am blank. I approach problems with blank. My most important personality trait is blank. So what kind of personality does this cat have?
That is a question and a half, isn't it?
Yep, we're starting the character creation process. We gotta decide what kind of guy we are.
Alright, what would a cat be like if they grew up in a magical futurescape?
Well, of course, cats do have a natural affinity for crime.
True. Is Cat using magic to break into, like, facilities and stuff? Steal some tech?
Well, I don't know. We haven't decided what its artifact does yet, or what powers it got from being bitten by the radioactive magic spider, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Do you think maybe the personality tag would be easier to do if we did our other ones first?
It's hard to say, because we potentially run into the same issue with the other ones, where, well, I don't know. I guess we could start with augmentation, because we both kind of agreed on augmentation, and the other ones were just kind of ideas that came up off of that, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we start with augmentation, which,
okay.
One moment, let me get back up to the page here, is on page 236. Cybernetic enhancement, gene therapy, and neuroadjustments are just some of the artificial methods used by citizens of the megacity to upgrade the meat they were born with. So what augmentations have you installed? I've replaced or modified my blank with one that can blank. I've added or grafted blank to my body. I boosted my blank to superhuman levels. I've installed blank inside of me. I rewrote my genes or fused with groundbreaking tech to gain blank.
I think an easy answer to this one is I've replaced or modified, like, my vocal cords with one that can speak English or, like, speak the common tongue.
Okay. Actually, here's what I think we can do here. I've got an idea.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, there was a while ago, I may have mentioned this before, we've had a guest on who guest starred on this show. A Masks a New Generations podcast called Apex City, where one of the main characters was the Baroness. She was a bear who had cybernetic enhancements with an artificial intelligence installed in it.
Oh, that could be really cool.
So yeah, I like something along those lines where it's like, the cat is smart, maybe like human level or smarter, capable of speech or whatever, because there is an AI augmenting its existing feline intelligence.
Ooh, yeah, so like I boosted my knowledge to superhuman levels, or like my brain.
I think I've installed an artificial intelligence inside of me. Both of those would be correct answers to that question.
I think the I've installed artificial intelligence works.
Now that we've got that, we need the power tag questions. And of course, just like with the other ones, we have to answer the first question. So we have to answer A, which is, what does your augmentation give you or make you into? And I think maybe the answer to that one is just smarter, stronger, faster.
Smarter, stronger, faster.
Yeah. And then I think we could use C potentially. What is another feature or application of the technology to make sure that, like, the cat can speak? And that's, like, one of its abilities is, like, advanced communication array or something like that. So, like, it's not just it can speak to people, it can speak to anything.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that works. That makes sense.
Then we need to answer one more.
Okay, let's see. I mean, J could be an easy one. What advantage does your augmentation give you in social situations? Like, the ability to, like, rapidly determine information or, like, rapidly process information and stuff like that.
Actually, that might be a better descriptor for B. What is your augmentation's most used for or well-known application, like rapid information processing?
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, that could be the original intention of this AI unit, or augmentation.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
And then all the other stuff was just kind of, like, either afterthoughts or additional, like, perks that were not intended.
Okay. It's 3 power and then 2 weakness, right?
1 weakness.
Right.
Unless they've changed it, but I don't think they have. Again, it's been like a month since I've read this, but I think character creation more or less works like it does in the other 2 games of the same style we've done.
Yeah.
Now, on those lines, I think there is a possibility that, at least in City of Mist it was this way, that if you want to take a second weakness, you could add a second power tag to one theme, but I'm not sure that's a thing that they've kept, and also I wouldn't want to do it until we've done all of our themes anyway, so...
Yeah, fair. Ooh, D is a pretty good weakness tag. What is the social backlash of sporting such an aug?
Oh, that is pretty good. I was looking at B. What kind of undesired feedback do you get from this augmentation?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, like, if the artificial intelligence has, like, its own, like, personality or agenda, then
Ooh,
sometimes it may be at odds with what the body wants to do.
That's good. I actually like that a lot more than just, like, social backlash. I think that could create some pretty unique scenarios for your character.
Yeah, so, like, instinct versus intuition or something like that, maybe?
Yeah, I think that worked.
Fancy, pithy way to say that. Basically, the idea is that, like, the cat has its natural, like, fight or flight reflexes. It was born a regular old animal, and now it's got an intelligence beyond probably its normal functioning brain can comprehend. And so, like, while it can use 100% of the AI, and the AI can use 100% of the cat's body, it's not like they are necessarily perfectly in lockstep.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's some cybernetic horror for you.
Yeah.
Actually, I think there's like a movie that has that kind of idea. I'm trying to remember what it's called.
It's not an uncommon trope in, like, sci-fi or cyberpunk stuff where, like, someone has a cybernetic enhancement the cybernetic enhancement has its own agenda potentially, and that comes into odds with the goals of the character with the enhancement.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally the plot of Cyberpunk 2077, is you've got a rogue AI based off a terrorist rock star living in your head, taking over your body slowly.
Incredible. I need to play that game.
You really don't.
All right, cool.
So, the top thing here, the big box, I think that's supposed to be the title. So we'll get to that later, I think.
Oh, the title.
Yeah, so below the green bar, there's one box that's bigger than the others. I think that's the title of the theme.
Oh, so like augmentation.
Well, we come up with a special title for it.
Oh, right.
The next ones down are the power tags, and then the two that have, like, at the very bottom that have the diagonal, like, bar pattern through it, those are the weaknesses.
Oh, okay.
And then below that, we have our plot hook for this character, which in previous games was like mystery and identity. In this one, we've got identity, ritual, and itch. So for the noise theme, we have an itch. A desire you must fulfill that can only be met through using this alteration to your body. And so this could either be like a short-term goal, like one of the options it has here for like Cyborg, as an example, is like replace all of my meat with machine. Or like for cyber arm, show my superior strength. Like, we could just have a cat who is very interested in showing off its superior intellect, and that would potentially give us something to work with when we get to the personality. Yeah, maybe we should find a simpler way to say that, because it looks like it's sticking out of the line.
They're all sticking out.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
What did we have for B?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, they don't leave a lot of room here. They're like, the font is too big on this form fillable.
Oh. I guess we'll have to work around that then. At least for the identity, we get 3 lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, what do you think about that? Like, make the goal of the cybernetic enhancement to just show off your superior intellect at any opportunity.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it gives us something to work with potentially for the next phase of this, which could just be the personality.
Let me get this straight. This one has an itch, but other ones might be...
So, the Mythos themes would have a ritual, and the Self themes have an identity.
Okay.
Because they've kind of dropped the noir theming, because it used to be that, like, Mythos themes all came with a mystery, but now they have a ritual. Like, engaging with your itch levels up the theme, so, like, you gotta pick something that you actually want the character to have the opportunity to do, you know?
Okay, yeah. Gotcha. What do we want to call this? What's our title here?
For the augmentation, let's see.
Cortana.
Probably not that. The idea is to come up with something, like, kinda quick and snappy that, like, is descriptive, but also a little abstracted from the idea. So, like, I don't know, maybe, like, intelligent systems, or intelligent design.
Intelligent design. Ooh, I like that. Welcome to the mid-roll, everybody. I hope you are having a good time and enjoying listening to this episode of the Literal Cat Pod. We've got some quick housekeeping to do, and then we'll let you get back to it.
Indeed. As you all know, we are a podcast, and you, as an audience member, may appreciate listening to this podcast, maybe even learning more about it. Maybe you want to follow us on social media to see if we have anything to say. We usually don't, but, you know, we might.
True.
If you would like to find out more information about us, find our socials, etc., there is one place that you should go to find that information, and it is badgertrove.com/literalcatpod.
Yep, that is our website. You can find a lot of great stuff there. Like Joel said, basically all of our information. If you want to catch us on any site and you want to know if we're there, that's where to look.
Yep, that's the place.
Another place to look to get involved with the show is our Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/badgertrove. We've got a few tiers over there. We start at, our lowest tier is $2. That gets you access to stuff like our calendar and some polls and stuff. So you can go over there, support us. If you're liking the show, you can, interact with the community there.
I will say, I believe at this point, Apple has begun their, change of service that requires Patreon and several other apps, and I think Google Play has done the same thing, where they are now charging Patreon more for your transaction through the app, which means that Patreon has passed that bill onto its users. Which means that for us, if you try and subscribe through the Patreon mobile app, it may cost more money. You can easily subvert this by subscribing through a web browser.
Yeah. Don't let Apple take more money than you intend to give.
Yeah, we don't get it.
Yeah, we don't get it. It doesn't go to us, so that, where you subscribe, that is your choice.
And even if you don't see that someone's Patreon has gone up in price, there is a good chance that means that they are eating that cost themselves. So it is still probably the best thing for you to do to subscribe through the web browser.
Yep. But if you're not super into Patreon and you still want to support the show and you don't really care about social media all too much, there's one other thing you can do for free super easily, and that is rating and reviewing. So go on to your favorite podcasting app, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, what have you, and go click the little 5 stars button. And if you're really feeling up to it, click that button and then tell us how you feel about the show.
Yeah, seriously though, rating and reviewing is the best way you can support this show or any other show you could probably think of. We do not exactly have a marketing budget. Any, budget we can come up with, we usually have to spend on getting the games that we're going to cover on the show. So word of mouth is our best form of advertising. And the easiest way you can participate in that is by going onto your podcast app, or if your podcast app doesn't have a rating and review system, go on to, what's another one? Podchaser, or even just open the Apple Podcast app for a bit and just put in 5 stars or whatever star rating you think is appropriate, 5, because that is the easiest way that you can help other people find the show, because what'll happen is the more reviews we get, the more Apple, Spotify, etc. are going to think, oh, this is a show people like to listen to. We're going to show it to more people.
Yeah, it really helps us a lot. We love getting new listeners. We love hearing people talk about the show. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Exactly. Also, one last note for the show. This is the last normal episode we're going to have for a while, because next month, 2 weeks from now, is the start of Wild West Winter.
Let's go! I'm so excited to make some cowboys. some cow cats. Some cat boy? No, not cat boys. Yeah, Wild West Winter. How long does that last, Joel? That's all
winter.
Let's go. All right.
December to February. Ooh. 6 cats.
6 cats for your 6 shooters. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
A cat for each chamber. But yes, I am looking forward to it, and I hope you guys, the audience, are looking forward to it as well. We got a lot of pretty cool games lined up.
We certainly do. Anyway, I think that's everything we need to talk. Oh, I guess one more thing. We already talked about the Patreon, but this theme, Wild West Winter, was decided by our patrons. Every year, we will put out a poll to determine the next, we'll have an annual sort of theme, and every year we're going to put out a poll and let our audience contribute to deciding what that theme is. The next, set of polls for deciding on the theme for 2025 will be going out literally the second that Wild West Winter ends.
Yes, so if you want your voice to be heard, go to the Patreon, toss us a couple bucks, and let us know what you want out of this show for next year, because this year it's already been decided.
Yep, that perk is available to every single patron, as low as the $2 level.
Yep.
Anyway, Avalon, what have you been up to? Anywhere people should go to look for you outside this show?
Well, I'm on most socials at Avalon Alchemist. Notably, I've been posting more on Blue Sky because I'm trying to migrate off of Twitter.
Who isn't these days?
Exactly. But you can also catch me at Twitch, twitch.tv/Avalon Alchemist. I'm streaming over there, finishing up Resident Evil 4, gonna do some more Resident Evil games, and I've got a couple other games lined up to stream that I'm super excited for. My goal is in the next year to just, get back on that horse and start streaming some more.
Nice.
That's it for me. Joel, what do you got?
Well, I also started streaming again earlier this year. I'm over at twitch.tv/omamervt. That is also where you can find me on other social media sites. I am still playing through the Dragon Age series at this point. speaking of which, last episode, I know I talked about, like, doing a Dragon Age tabletop game. Because of the way my internet is, we had to delay that, and at this point, we haven't had time to reschedule it, and we probably won't until sometime in the new year. So, sorry if you were looking forward to that. My internet just wouldn't let us do it.
Yeah, blame Joel's ISP.
No, seriously. I've been talking to them about this for weeks, and they have not, even taken, a serious investigation into it.
Unfortunate. But that's something you can continue to look forward to.
Yeah, anyway, that's probably enough from us about this all right now. How about you go back and listen to the last bit of non-cowboy, RPG that you're going to get until spring. So anyway, back to personality then. In what unique way do you think or behave? So, this doesn't necessarily have to be about the intellect, but, the AI is probably the main, driving force of this cat's personality. So it could be.
Yeah. Maybe it's something like, sometimes I'm not myself?
Maybe. I was thinking more along the lines of, this AI we've established likes showing off how smart it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a thing that it shares with the cat in some other way? Is this cat, really a show-off in general, and that is rubbed off on its more intelligent half?
Ooh, that would be good. I don't want to say cocky. Arrogant, maybe?
Maybe. I think what we're looking for, though, is just show-off.
Show-off, yeah. That's a good way to describe it.
That's the answer to A. Show-off.
All right.
Let's see. Part of your personality helps you succeed or endure. How does your personality help you navigate social situations? How do you see the world differently? What is the main advantage your personality gives you on a job on the street? What item best expresses your personal style or way of doing things? What about your personality do others find attractive or impressive? What is unusual, weird, or surprising about you? What do you carry with you to make you feel safe? How does your personality change when you're in a difficult situation? Okay, I think I can answer G and J.
Okay.
Do you have any that you think you could answer?
Maybe C?
Oh, that's also good. That one's first on the list. What do you got for that?
I'm thinking kind of off the idea of, maybe you can easily impress people.
Oh yeah, if you're always showing off, you'll impress someone, right?
Yeah, you're bound to impress somebody.
That's kind of where I was going with G as well, is
yeah,
people find it appealing that this cat just appears talented at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Good at everything.
I like that. Maybe not good at everything, but trying to think of another way to word that.
Maybe just multi-talented.
Multi-talented? Yeah, that works. And then you said you wanted to do J. I was also looking at J, but what do you have?
So how does your personality change when you're in a difficult situation? I think maybe in that situation, you don't necessarily lose your cool, but you are looking for a quick and flashy exit. I don't know how to... I'm trying to think of how to phrase that in a more, condensed way, but,
obscene solutions, maybe?
Obscene solutions?
Yeah. Maybe not obscene.
Okay, I get it. So it's, maybe not obscene, but,
obscure solutions?
Obscure solutions. Yeah, it's we go into, our big mind palace thing. We do the, oh crap, what's the main character of Psych?
I don't know
Sean.
his name.
That's
Sean.
his name, right?
Maybe.
I think it's Sean. Anyway, you do his thing of where he takes stock of everything in the scene to figure out what he can use to his advantage in a social situation, but this cat will use it to his advantage in literally any situation.
Yeah.
So it's I can knock down that thing over there and it'll set off a Rube Goldberg effect that'll allow us a chance to escape or something,
Yeah. I pull this light switch and then everything in the room blows up.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what, obscure solutions then? Is that how we want to phrase it? Or do we want to put, mind palace?
Maybe out of the box thinking.
Okay, that works.
That's even more wordy, isn't it?
It's a more condensed word for out of the box.
Unconventional?
Yeah, unconventional.
Yeah, unconventional solutions is probably what we're thinking.
Yeah, that works. So, weakness tags. Who finds you or who do you find irksome or loathsome? How does your personality get you into trouble? What situation throw you off your game? Who or what are you averse to?
I feel like we'd potentially be pretty reckless.
Yeah,
so maybe B.
Easily. Yeah, absolutely. If you're trying to show off at every chance you get, or if you're looking for unconventional solutions, then you're bound to cause some havoc somewhere,
And then an identity I like being the center of attention. Something like that, you know?
I think that works perfectly. Cats do really like being the center of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need a name for this.
I like look what I can do, but that's a lot of words.
Hey mom, look. Check me out, maybe?
Maybe look, check me out's good. Okay.
Alright. You want to go with that?
Yeah.
Alright.
Mine was going to be look, no pause, but...
Oh, no. That's so good, too.
But I think check me out's better.
Okay. We'll keep it. Okay, on to our mythos.
Yep. So we have, I think artifact will be first.
Yeah.
That's on page, what is it? 220.
220. The character art for all of these is so good. The artifact, God, that looks cool as shit.
Is that like Horus?
Yeah, I think that's the Eye of Horus.
Yeah. Horus is the ruler one, right?
Yeah, that's the Eye of Horus.
Okay. I thought so. Because that's also like the basis for Hawkman, the DC superhero, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that he had the Eye of Horus as a base. That's interesting.
I don't know that that's always the case, but it's the case sometimes. At least it was in the Flash TV show.
Okay, gotcha. Alright, let's see. Our concept says, what powers does your artifact possess? In my time of need, I found a blank that can blink. I wield a weapon capable of blank. It belonged to / a gift from blank who has power over blank. It's a tool that can shape blank, or it's a vessel that can hold blank.
So we like the idea of this cat being like, I don't know, like a phantom thief type character.
Yeah, real flashy.
Okay, I've been thinking this entire time that the artifact should be something that like gives the cat the ability to unlock doors or just open things.
Okay. Why do you say unlock doors and open things? Just for heisting?
Exactly, yeah. Like, you can get in and out with no evidence that you've tampered with anything.
Okay. What kind of artifact could do that? I'm trying to think of something that a cat could easily keep around, you know?
So it could be something that's like embedded in its cybernetics.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a power source that keeps its AI battery charged, but it also has the interesting side effect of giving off an energy that, when focused by the cat, allows it to unlock things.
I'm trying to think of what could do that, because, like, obviously we're in, like, a Futurescape thing, but is every door going to be, like, an electronic lock situation? Or, like, every place that you need to get into?
Well, maybe not. But, like, this is a magic item, so...
True, yeah.
It could be that, like, it struggles with other magically locked doors, but anything that's mundane or cybernetic, like, you know, anything, like just a mundane door or a tech-based door, no problem. It'll unlock it.
Okay.
That can put, like, you know, a little limitation on it. But yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe the idea of making it an artifact that both powers the cat's augmentations and gives it this ability is too much. I feel like maybe we could make something that's like, okay, there's a power source that's like, the power source is exposing the cat to radiation, but like, that could just be our exposure power, you know?
Ooh, yeah.
So the artifact could just be something entirely different that the cat somehow owns, unrelated to everything else going on with it.
Yeah. I'm trying to formulate an artifact that a cat could reasonably wield. I'm thinking of like maybe a Rubik's Cube type deal. Like, it's just this cube that like kind of slightly shifts reality to a point where this door is unlocked.
I think you're overthinking it. I think we just need to like have a skeleton key.
A skeleton, just a skeleton key.
Yeah, except this one's actually made of bone.
Okay.
Keep it around the collar. Why not?
You know, I'm just now realizing that I didn't write these concepts down. There's not really a place for them.
No, the concept doesn't actually go on the character sheet. You use it to get started, and then you write out the details based on... Now, I think there is a spot for the concepts. At least there was in City of Mist. There was. They've replaced it with the essence thing on the character card in this one, though.
Yeah, okay.
It used to be, though, that there was like a spot where you could write down like your overall mythos idea and logos idea, and then your concepts. But they've replaced it with the essence track, which kind of makes sense. I mean, it's a neat little visualization of your progress or your current state of being.
I do like it a lot.
But anyway.
So, power tags.
What artifact of power do you possess? Skeleton key.
Yep.
What mythic or magical property does your artifact exhibit? That's B. That might be the thing. Like, we want to lock it in, specify, this thing unlocks any door.
Unlocks any door. How does your artifact protect you or others? What new sentimental trait do you gain when your artifact is active? How can your artifact be used to overcome your foes? What travel or escape power does your artifact grant you? It's a pretty easy answer. What power can your artifact use reflexively without your guidance? What surprising power can your artifact unleash? What can your artifact transform into or transform you into? What quality do you possess that finds or draws your artifact to you?
Okay. Maybe pushing it a bit here, but what if the key is capable of making an entryway or exit where one didn't exist before?
Okay. So, it just opens up a hole in a wall or something.
Yeah. I answer to potentially F or H. What travel or escape power does your artifact grant you? Or what surprising power can your artifact unleash? Just make a new exit.
Yeah, I think H might be the one to do there.
Yeah, that's the surprise trick. That it's not just that it can unlock doors, it can make its own.
If we're going with that, though, do we need to be unlocking doors if it can just make holes?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's, potentially a sort of underexplored aspect of the power that, maybe when you first got it, you thought, oh, this just unlocks doors. But you're just beginning to, at the start of the game, understand that no, it does so much more than that.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then weakness tag questions. Who or what is your artifact ineffective against? We've already said, we know it's good against mundane doors and tech-based doors, but potentially struggles with magic doors.
Yeah. Do we want that to just be our weakness tag answer?
I feel like it would potentially be either A or B. Is it ineffective entirely? Or B is what drains your artifact of its abilities or restricts or counters them.
Ooh. I like answering B instead.
Yeah, that still gives you a chance for it to succeed, right?
Yeah.
Because if you say A, then there is no chance of using the just door unlocking capabilities. You're restricted just to making your own entrance and hoping that it doesn't interfere with the magic over the main entrance. Because you have two power tags to roll to unlock a door, only one power tag to make your own entrance or exit. On to exposure, right?
We still need our ritual.
Oh, right. A task or practice you must engage in to keep your connection to your artifact. It's some way I think that we recharge its power, maybe. How do we recharge our skeleton key's power? I feel like we have an opportunity here to maybe determine what the source of this thing's power is. Because every mythos thing has its own source of power, right? So this could be Saint Nicholas, who you know as Santa Claus, is the patron saint of thieves.
Oh, I did not know that part.
Yeah, I think maybe that could be another aspect of the character, right? So if we're saying, if this artifact gets its power from the patron saint of thieves, then maybe we rely on another aspect of the myth of Saint Nicholas and say that you can recharge it by giving away something you've stolen.
Ooh. Okay, so give away something you've stolen?
Yeah, as a potential ritual is whenever you use this key, you have to give away something that you stole while using it.
Interesting.
Which gives the cat, a major motivation whenever they're on the scene, even if it's not for a heist, to make off with something.
Yeah.
Right? Which is an interesting additional aspect to this character.
Yeah. So what do we want to name this?
Okay, so I made a joke earlier about it literally being a key made of bone, but is there something there?
What if this was something like a witch's finger or something? What are the words for your finger bones? Your phalanges?
I don't know that there's anything there.
Yeah, I was trying to think of anything to go with phalanges, so I was like, nah. We want it to be made out of bone.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. That doesn't have to be a literal aspect of this. But maybe thief's best friend?
Ooh, that's good. I like that. And finally, we have exposure.
Page 232, exposure.
All right. So for our concept, the question is, how did the exposure change you? My body changed into a blank. I was afflicted with the blessing/curse of blank, a game magical powers resembling the legend of blank, or I became infused with blank.
Okay, so I think we were onto something earlier with like, there's something powering our augmentations, right? That makes our artificial intelligence a cut above what's available to anyone else.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that something is some magic juice that is radioactive and has other effects on the cat.
Okay. I'm trying to think of like a mini power core or something.
1 second. I am just Googling deities of knowledge. Ooh, Sarasvati might be good.
Sarasvati?
It's something from Hindu mythology. So it is the goddess of knowledge, creativity, and speech.
Okay. That fits.
That is literally the character.
Yeah. I was afflicted with the blessing of Sarasvati.
Yeah, basically.
So that is our concept. So our first power tag question is, what powers did your exposure grant you?
I feel like it would be potentially like redundant, let's say, to give the cat more intelligence from this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going through this here. Again, this is a common Hindu goddess. So there is going to be something about the story. Serene woman, radiant white complexion, dressed in white, representing quality of goodness, 4 arms, each holding a symbolic object, book, rosary, water pot, and a musical instrument known as the veena.
Oh, I've seen this thing.
Yeah. So there's a couple things we could pull from there. Potentially either the 4 arms aspect or maybe something to do with music. I've got an idea.
Okay.
Spectral arms.
Ooh, spectral arms could be cool.
Yeah, so like, basically the power is magic hand, but but like Sarasvati has an extra set of hands, so the cat has an extra set of hands.
Okay. So would that be, what powers does your exposure grant you? Spectral arms?
Yep.
Okay. Now, would these be like human arms?
I feel like they would have to have like the capabilities of like human arms and hands at the very least.
Yeah. Okay. So let's take a look at these other ones too.
In what ways has the exposure changed your body or allowed you to transform? Under what circumstances are your powers enhanced? What is your most iconic or stylish power? What are you able to project, unleash, grow, or emit from your body? I mean, that would just be double answering A, I feel like.
Yeah.
How did your exposure make you more likely to endure or survive? How have your senses, instincts, faculties, or bodily functions been affected? How might your powers be used in creative or unusual ways? How do your powers aid you in everyday life? When your powers are active, what about your personality changes? J might be interesting since we literally have a personality theme. I'd have to think of something. H and I seem like the easy ways to go about things here.
Yeah.
Because you could get creative with an extra set of hands. And how do your powers aid you in your everyday life? Extra set of hands.
Yeah. An interesting answer to H might be like, maybe you're able to like get to places you obviously otherwise wouldn't be able to. Like how strong are these spectral arms? Like, can you launch yourself with them, do you think?
I mean, a cat's not heavy. You gotta be able to, like, move yourself around by these hands.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of, like, being able to, like, use your arms to dash, essentially. To dash or jump.
Okay.
Farther than what anybody would expect.
Okay, I see what you mean. Boosted mobility, maybe? Is a good way to put that?
Yeah. I was gonna say that or agility. But mobility, I think, works better. Is more encompassing. And then I think we both wanted to answer J. How?
Yeah. I think when your powers are when you use this power, you are less reckless, right? Like, you activate this and you actually slow down and take the time to, like, truly take in the scene.
Yeah. I do like that. My thought was, maybe you're a little ashamed of this power. Maybe you think this power makes you weird and you have, like, you kind of like close up a little bit, you know, like you don't really want people to see that you have this, even though you're a show off.
Maybe.
But like,
we don't know that anyone else can see it anyway.
That's true if we're going like the spectral route.
But like, this has to be a perk.
Oh, true.
It's one of our powers.
Yeah. Okay, then yeah, I think like more methodical thinking.
Yeah, methodical thinking is probably the way to say that, yeah.
All right. And then weakness tags. We have, what undesired effects did the exposure have on you? It's a pretty good one to answer. What could block or neutralize your connection to your source? What vulnerability or limitation did you inherit from your source? Who are your natural predators or enemies in this form?
Well, we don't really transform, so I don't think we can answer D.
I mean, A seems like a good answer. Like, if you want to go, like, the radiation route, or, like having a negative effect on us, like, maybe, like, we become weaker after using them.
Yeah, so, like, okay, that's good. So, like, using the arms wears you out faster.
Yeah. So, like, you get all this boosted mobility and, like this ability to, like, kind of maneuver in this cool, unique way and very quickly, but, like, once you're done with that, it's just like, whew, just fully spent too much of myself.
Yeah, exhausted after use.
By the way, I just realized we answered B for every weakness question besides this one.
Nice. Alright, what's our ritual? A task or practice you must engage in to keep your connection to the source of your exposure. She actually represents not just creative energy, but power in all of its forms, including longing and love. If she represents power in all of its forms, then we can work with that, right? Because maybe the ritual could be more of a literal recharge of some kind. There could be something there that, like, I don't know, there's like a purification ritual of literal power that we have to do.
You have to eat a battery. No, kidding.
I'm thinking more like bathe in a source of power.
See, that's what I was...
Any source of power.
That's what I was thinking, because it says that Sarasvati is the personification of the Sarasvati River. And there was a couple other, like, literature things that I was looking at down here, and they mention, like, bathing in a river as a worshipping thing.
Right. So what I'm thinking is, like, anywhere that is a source of power is a place that could potentially be blessed by Sarasvati. So, you know, radioactive acid even could be the thing. We just have to, like, take a dip in it to recharge the battery.
Okay.
And since this is our battery for keeping our AI online, that could be an interesting thing to explore for the augmentation down the line as well. As like, ooh, is this AI going to eventually be able to just absorb energy from its surroundings or something?
Ooh, yeah. That'd be cool.
Potential interesting avenue to explore for the future. But like, for now, I think it's just bathe in a source of power. Like, I think it's just magic or otherwise.
Okay. Cool. What do we name this power? This exposure.
What do we name this?
The Hands of Weight. Weight.
I don't know.
For the boosted mobility. A handoff, since they're not technically attached to our body. Oh, helping hand.
Oh, yeah, there you go. You got it.
Or yeah, I'll put helping hands, plural.
Yeah, there you go.
Took me a second. As soon as I thought it, I was like, oh, duh, it's right there. So those are our themes.
Yep, but we're not done yet.
Oh, we're not?
No, we have one thing left to do, because Otherscape also has a special theme book called The Loadout Theme. If you go back to 174, we can...
Let's take a look at
this. So, every player character also has a loadout theme, which simply serves as a container to the loadout tags, and begins with 3 loadout tags. So, page 114 is where we learn about loadouts. Before you set out on a job, you get to pack some useful gear. This equipment comes from your loadout theme. Wait. Oh, all loadout themes start out burnt. Before every job, when the MC says it's time to load up, you may spend 1 power to recover any of your loadout tags at the cost of 1 power per tag. So, this is not a thing that we start with. You choose tags that seem useful for the coming job. Basically, so like you start the game with a maximum of 3 loadout tags. You can spend power to recharge your loadout, and then you can get gear. So we don't do that at character creation. It's like how Forged in the Dark games, Blades in the Dark and whatnot, have a loadout, like gear that you can pick per mission, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But the point is, we don't worry about that right now. So we are actually done. Once we name this cat. Yep, that's our essence.
I feel like obviously this cat would name itself.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm trying to think of what a cat would name itself if it had all these abilities.
Do we think this cat's played Persona 5?
We're gonna name this cat Joker?
I mean, I was thinking there's a member of the team that's like Panther themed, is like her outfit.
Oh, okay.
What was her real name? On.
I was also thinking of like the actual like cat character Morgana, right?
I don't want to be. No one wants to be Morgana.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had that character correct.
But yeah, that is the name of the cat.
Okay.
We got to get you to play the Persona series one of these days.
I actually haven't looked into it, so I don't know how it plays or anything. I just hear people talk about it and say that it's good. So
It's a JRPG series. Ever since 5, they've kind of they were the ones who kind of streamlined the turn-based combat system. So now, like, everyone kind of copied what they did, and now everyone has this really nice streamlined turn-based combat.
Okay, gotcha. Good with turn-based combat. Anyways, we're getting off track.
Yeah, they also take a lot of notes from Dragon Quest, interesting enough, in Persona 5.
Oh, I could easily see that being the case. Dragon Quest is pretty popular.
Well, of course, we have the option to go with our styles. Do we think that this AI would name, or this cat with its AI would name itself regular person name, food and drink name, a musical reference, mythology and folklore reference, an animal or cryptid reference, historical reference, literature reference, an astronomy reference, or something from nerd culture?
Ooh.
I'm gonna guess not the last one.
Yeah, no. I think literature reference makes the most sense here.
Yeah.
Literature or the mythology/folklore.
Okay. In that case, what about Lupin?
Lupin, okay. I do like the name Lupin. And Lupin is, from the little that I know, Lupin does seem like the show-offy thief type. So I do like that a lot.
I mean, he is the gentleman thief.
Yeah. Okay, I dig it. And then he, him.
Yeah.
For sure. Alright. This is Lupin the Fifth, actually.
Nah.
Just Lupin is fine.
Funny enough, someone did try and make a Lupin the Fourth TV series.
Really?
It got canceled because the estate of LeBlanc did not want to give the rights away again after Lupin the Third. So they repurposed the stuff that they made and made Inspector Gadget.
Oh. Wait, no way. Wait, are you for real?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's the origin of the Inspector Gadget animated series.
That's so cool. Wow. What a way to turn that around, huh?
Basically, the idea was that their version of the police inspector had all these cool gadgets he was going to use to try and track down the fourth Lupin. So that's what they'd spent a lot of their budget creating, and so when they had to scrap everything else, they kept that guy.
Nice. Huh. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, you learn something new every day.
Indeed.
Well, if we have nothing else to fill out...
I don't believe we do. And we broke no rules.
Yeah, no. I didn't feel any intention to play as a human.
It's not really a requirement, not even in City of Mist. One of the earliest pre-generated characters for City of Mist is literally not human. It's a kitsune spirit who just came through from the mythos side of existence into our world for some purpose, and then it just gained a somewhat human identity while in our world.
Yeah.
It's never really been like a solid requirement that you play as a human. But anyway, that is our character.
There we go.
No rules broken. I love this system so much. I'm sure I've said that a million times on this show already. This is genuinely one of my favorites. It was the first thing that I found after getting away from games that use 20-sided dice as the primary resolution mechanic, and it has shaped my opinion of a lot of games since.
Yeah, it is a very good system. I like this a lot.
Alright, anyway, you got a cat pun for us?
I sure do. What did one cat say to his friend who wouldn't stop scaring him on Halloween?
No idea.
He says, "Could you quit that? You're freaking me out."
I think you've used me out a few too many times at this point. It's
Have
losing
I?
its impact. You've done help me out, you've done something else, and now freak me out.
Well, I'll get around to something else next time, you know?
Will they? I guess we'll find out next time.
I switched over because I felt like I was using purr too much in my punchlines. Because, 3 of my last, 6 had purr in them.
See, I hadn't noticed that pattern.
Dang it. I could have gotten away with my other one then. Alright, well, until next time.